right, welcome to section 3.1. I'm going to be teaching you about square roots and how to solve a quadratic with using square roots. We are on page 95 of your textbook. I'm going to do number 4, you're going to do number 5, and I actually lied to you. I'm going to do number 6 as well. Trust me, you're going to want to see this. Things that you need to remember. SADMEP, the opposite of PEMDAS, if you're going to solve an equation. And then finally, there are really good resources on bigideasmath.com/LUSD. The videos for this are actually really good, and I suggest you watch them in the Student Dynamic ebook if you need more help. All right, so for number 4, I have 2/3 x squared plus 14 equals 20, and I need to get x squared by itself. So first thing I'm going to do is take away 14 from both sides. So I'm left with 2/3 x squared equals 6. 2/3 x squared equals 6. To get x squared by itself, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. I hope this is a review. This is just to help us make it look nice, especially since I'm writing on a whiteboard at home on a video. All right, 3/2 times 2/3 is 1. 2 goes into 6 3 times. X squared is now equal to 9. But that's not good enough. It's not good enough to know what x squared is. We need to know what x is. So to undo the square, I have to, ta-da, square root both sides. The square root of a perfect square is just the number underneath. Also, it's just the x. And then finally, the square root of 9, it's actually plus or minus 3. So to solve something with square roots, we're going to get the variable by itself that has the squared, and then we are going to square root both sides and never forget our plus and minus. All right? And I wanted to do number 6 with you. After looking at, also here's my dog, there's August, sleeping after a long day of rock climbing. I want to do number 6 with you because you've never seen the denominator thing before. So I have to get the x by itself, but right now it's stuck in parentheses, it's squared, and there's a 2 out front. First thing I need to do, I need to divide both sides by 2. Again, this is number 6 on page 95. 2 over 2 cancels out. I'm left with just x minus 4 squared equals negative 5 over 2. X minus 4 squared equals negative 5 over 2. All right, I still want that x by itself, but the exponent is outside the parentheses, and it's the thing I need to get rid of next to isolate the variable. So I'm going to square root both sides. Make that a big square root over here. You are square rooting the negative 5, and you're square rooting the 2. On the left side, the square and the square root go away, so we just have x minus 4. On the right side, we're actually going to split it up a little bit more. Right now I'm starting to feel like there's something wrong with that negative underneath. So I have the square root of negative 5 over the square root of 2. Let me make sure I at least copy this down right. Yeah, 2 times the quantity of x minus 4 equals negative 5. Alrighty. So the square root of negative 5 is on top. The square root of 2 is on the bottom. There's now 2 things I don't like unless I did this wrong. I still see I just divided by 2. Still have a negative over here. You can't take the square root of a negative. So at this point, I don't think you know imaginary numbers. So right now, square root of a negative, and you're just going to say there are no real solutions. That was actually easier than I thought, and I feel kind of silly talking about it on the video and not in class. Anyway, you do need to do number 5. We do have a lot to discuss in class, including multiplying by the conjugate and, well, more simplifying of things. Eventually, we're going to get to imaginary numbers and how to do this. Okay, so I want you to go back and do number 5. I want you to remember that you're undoing PEMDAS. And finally, if you need more help, the examples in the book and the video tutorials on bigideasmath.com/LUSD are very good, okay? I'll be back with another video.